The lengthy catalog of clergy sexual abuses by the grand jury report was extremely difficult to read, as the grand jurors note. Priests and other Catholic leaders victimized teens and children of all ages. But all of them were brushed aside in every part of the state by church leaders who preferred to protect the abuser and their institution above all else. Most especially, they wanted to protect money. To discuss this is Melanie Sakota, Secretary of the Board of Directors of SNAP, the largest, longest-running, and most active support group for women and men abused by religious and institutional authorities. Melanie, for 2 years, a grand jury in Pennsylvania investigated these abuse cases in 6 Roman Catholic churches across the state. They poured through 500,000 pages of church documents held in secret archives. This was an extraordinary cover-up that went on for decades. This is, though, what you're used to seeing, isn't it?
Exactly. We think this is happening everywhere that the Catholic Church operates.
Well, it operates in a large part because they really have developed a system for doing this, haven't they? I mean, if you were to call on your experience on how they go about operating like this, how would you describe it? If you were to just to kind of give us a thumbnail sketch on how they engage in these cover-ups, what would your take be on that?
I think that it's their standard operating procedure that the bishops know that if some scandalous information comes to them, they are supposed to keep it quiet, put it in their secret file, and cover it up. And until that changes, we're not going to see any real solution to this problem.
Well, is this a meaningful moment at all? I mean, where it comes to what's happened here, do you think this really changes anything about the way that the Catholic Church does business versus what the Catholic Church should be doing to protect children going forward? What is your take on that? I mean, you know, we see that every time we see one of these stories, we kind of wait for that moment that, you know, there's a sea change now. We're really going to expect something tremendous to happen. What is your take in that regard, having done this for so long?
I don't think we should be waiting for the church to do something. They've had all this time, and they haven't done anything. I think what people who are still part of the Catholic Church should be doing is they should vote with their feet and with their wallets. And I think that may bring some attention to it. I don't know that if it will change the policies that are coming down from the very top. But hopefully, because what you need is a policy that says, no, you don't put this stuff in the secret files. You send allegations of criminal behavior, you take them to the police, and if they're, and you let the people in the parish know that this is what you have done.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about SNAP so people understand what SNAP is and why you're out there, and tell us about anything that you think you've been able to accomplish with SNAP in pushing back, not just the Catholic Church, but in really across the board in all religions. What do you think you've accomplished, and tell us a little bit about your organization.
SNAP is a network of survivors and people who support them. We hold, in various parts of the country, we hold peer-to-peer support groups so that people can come, they can share their stories, they will know that the people there will understand and believe them, and the people that come will know that they are not alone. We also have an advocacy arm, which is, we have people doing media events as they've been doing in Pennsylvania yesterday and today. And that, I think, is an important part of what we do because we let people know that we're out there. We let survivors know that they're not alone. And that includes all survivors, not just those in the Catholic Church. And I think this has had an impact. I think we're finding a little bit that people are coming forward at earlier ages, and as we get our name out there, people know that we're a group that they can come to. Now, we're not the only one, but we are one of the groups that they can come to for help and support as they just come forward, or if they want to pursue some sort of action against their perpetrator or the people who may have covered up for their perpetrator.
Melanie, one of the things that came out of this report was how the different priests sharing information about victims it paints an image. There just wasn't one single abuser, but really, there's no other way to describe it as a systemic network. Okay, I mean that's the way I see this. Has that been your experience when SNAP has been involved in other cases? Do you kind of see the systemic nature to this entire thing? And I don't guess the systemic networking that came out in this report surprises you, does it?
No, and I think I think it was last year what you had on Netflix. You had the very fine documentary called The Keepers, which documented the systemic abuse of girls at a Catholic high school in Baltimore. So this is not something unusual. I mean, it doesn't happen. Not all of the abusers network, but some of them do.
You know, Pope Francis' response to the grand jury report has been to address the problem in a way that's really never been done before. I mean, you have to admit there's something different about what he said. But as he was saying it, you know, again, I read the grand jury report, and I don't come away, I'm not really moved by the idea that we're going to see much change in this monstrosity, this money monstrosity that has been built called the Catholic Church. But what is your take on what the Pope did?
You know, I think the only thing that I noticed is I was very happy that he called these activities what they are. They're criminals, they're crimes, it's criminal behavior. So that was a step forward because usually they're referred to as sins. And, you know, everybody may do things that are wrong, but not everybody is a criminal. So that was very, you know, was a step forward. But otherwise, where is the action? You know, when this, in 2002, when the Boston Globe revealed all the problems in the Archdiocese of Boston, Cardinal Law was removed. But what happened? He got a cushy job at the Vatican. When he died a year or so ago, he got a priest's funeral. You know, he was honored. That's what needs to change.
Nothing really has changed as I've watched this. Do you think the Catholic Church is reforming in any way, Melanie? I mean, do you really think that they're reforming in any way?
My take is no. I mean, they have policies and procedures, but policies don't protect children. Actions are what protects children, and that's what you need to do. You need to have action, and you need to start removing those people who are covering it up, or if it's a policy, if they're simply doing what they're supposed to, then you need to change the policy, and you need to make sure that this doesn't happen.
I'm interested to see your reaction to this. Harrisburg Bishop Ronald Gaynor spoke at a Mass this week, and he asked for forgiveness. Let's listen. I want to see your reaction to this.
In the name of our local church, I voice again my heartfelt sorrow and sincere apology to all survivors of clergy sexual abuse. The practical changes to avoid repeating the sad and troubling past are in place and are being faithfully observed and will continue to be improved in our diocese.
What's your reaction?
I'm not going to hold my breath and believe it. They have to show me. Yeah. You know, they have to start, you know, if they really want to do it, they release all their files.
Well, I think everybody listening to that has to react the same way. Melanie, thank you for joining me. Keep up the work with SNAP. It's more now than ever. We really need your engagement in all this.